watched the fight several times, and I feel as if I won the fight. I'm recovering pretty well, you know. I'm ready to fight again. Feel great.
Estimated time for a return, or is it just let the cards fall where they may?
Yeah, I'm thinking somewhere around the end of March. Yeah, I've spent the last, I think, 3 Christmases in Albuquerque, and I really wanted to just be with my family back in New York State and you know, let my kids see the way Christmas is supposed to be. So that's the reason why I kind of delayed that last fight and looking for March.
Glover Teixeira is next. Can you analyze your Brazilian opponent who's on this incredible run right now and is the next guy in line for the title?
Yes, my next opponent is Glover Teixeira. I'm going to be fighting him in March. He is he's from Brazil. He's won 5 fights in the UFC. He's won his last 20 fights. He's just an amazing athlete. Black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. One of the best boxers I've ever faced. Probably has the most knockout power that I've ever gone against. And it's just a big match. He's a big, scary, intimidating dude. And when I fight these guys, that's what brings out the best in me. You know, I think my own fear just encourages me to work really hard and limit my opponent's chances of winning. So I'm going to have an extremely dedicated camp, and I'm going to try to continue breaking records.
There were some stories that came out when Alexander was given, and take nothing away from Jimmy Manuwa because he's got a job to do. He'll take whatever fight he can get to get closer to the title as well. But Alexander Gustafsson takes on Jimmy Manuwa. You got Glover Teixeira. It's sort of a weird mixed martial.
It's not even right, dude.
So you disagree with the whole matchmaking?
Yeah, I think the matchmaking. I think the UFC really wants to see me and Alexander Gustafsson rematch really bad, and they really give him a really easy path to get back to the. No, without being disrespectful to Jimmy, Jimmy's not a top 10 fighter, and so I don't see how you are going to fight a guy not in the top 10 to get another world championship fight. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, does it make sense to you?
Personally, it does not. I think from what I see, and there are UFC officials here that might correct me when I step off the stage, but the fight's happening in Manchester. It's in England. Jimmy Manuwa's English. Ticket sales through the roof. I can see it happening. I would like to have seen Alexander face another top contender if he's already number 1. Only because, listen, if he went the distance with you in that exceptional fight, he could fight anyone else in the division because he's just shown that he's that good. On any given night, he can go with the best in the world.
Are you guys MMA fans? Talking about. You're kind of quiet out there.
I have a 17-part question. But we have a crack smoking bear, and Nate Rockford, just wondering if you can take care of him. He's like Roy Nelson.
Say it again. Say it again.
We have a crack smoking bear named Rob Ford. He's like Roy Nelson. Wondering if you can take care of him. Come on, Jon Jones, step up.
I don't know if I should even address that question.
Yeah, I saw that guy on the news. I know what you're talking about.
So I'll give you 2 things about that. So when I was in Vegas,
You should have brought him here.
they know I'm from Toronto. So you can imagine what pretty much all the conversations started off with while I was in Vegas. But I'll say one thing about Rob Ford. I don't live in Toronto. I live north of Toronto, so I can't vote. But I'll tell you one thing. When we tried to legalize mixed martial arts in this province, we were at the provincial legislature. They gave us, it was called MMA Day. Neil Forster, right there, was one of the guys that helped put it on. Give him an applause, because he was a huge hand in it. The only politician that showed up was Rob Ford. I don't know what that means. He what it says, but he's the only one that showed up.
I'm joking.
Well, that Joe, if they tried to take care of him and John kicked him, the stomach would just absorb it. It wouldn't do any damage.
He wouldn't feel a thing.
All right, another question here.
Hi, this is a question for John. I saw you in the Hilton lobby before your fight, the Gustafsson fight on Saturday in the morning, and you seemed like you were in a very, very intense mindset. I was just wondering if the Gustafsson fight that day, that morning before the fight, was like a typical day, or was there something specific bothering you before that fight?
Oh no, I wasn't. I was probably headed to meditate, and like when I'm meditating, like before and after, I'm like, you know, I'm just in a different place. So I was probably just really trying to stay focused, and I was probably really relaxed, and you should have just said hi.
All right, we got a guy who's challenging you right now.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
What's up, Joe? How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
Mr. Bones, right in front of everyone to the side here tonight. I work for the man that you beat his record in Toronto at the last UFC. His name is Tito Ortiz.
All right.
And I'm here to tell you to your face that I'm giving you, and he is back in Huntington right now, recovering from his injury. He respects you, and he thanks you for giving him the respect that he deserves. Because you are one of few in that company who recognizes what he has done for the UFC. And you have gone on the record on many times and given him the respect. So on behalf of the Huntington Beach bad boy, the people's champ, we give you the respect from Team Punishment, Mr. Jones.
Hey, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
And one more thing. You are the #1 light heavyweight right now. There's nobody in that division that will beat you. You're going to beat Glover, and everybody here knows it's going to happen. But in a couple of weeks, there's a man coming to stay with me over Christmas. And his name, a good friend of mine,
It's Santa Claus.
Hey, I'm glad you did that because
not Santa
he's
Claus.
super intense. Look at
Not
this
Santa
guy.
Claus.
He's like a WWF character. He's like, there's a man, and I think we all know who he is. And what The Rock says. No, you had me nervous, bro. There you go. All right, continue.
He's a good friend of mine, and he's the only man that has taken you to 5 rounds. His name is Rashad Evans. And Rashad Evans is the only man.
You're still doing it. Just talk normal. Okay.
I'm not talking. I'm just telling you, after you beat Glover, and you are going to beat Glover, give Rashad Evans his second fight.
We, you and I, we have a deal, my friend.
We have a deal?
You gotta talk to Dana.
I was just going to say, you got to talk to Dana.
I'll call Rashad right now, and I'll let him know what you said. Because the Sugar is back. You saw what he did to that American, I don't even know what you call him, Chael Sonnen. You beat him, he beat him. You and Sugar in May in Vegas. Let's do it.
Neil, you gotta get this guy a contract with the WWF. I mean, you got the hair, the sunglasses, the muscles. You got it, bro. You got it.
He's got Rashad in his fave 5 too, so he's like
JT
right
on
on
fire. Thank you.
We got any more questions? All right, man. That was awesome.
Hi, Jon Jones. Welcome to Toronto again.
Hey, thanks for having me.
All right. I want to know, are you going to be on the card in Newark, New Jersey next year? And is the UFC planning on coming to Canada more than once a year? Let's say 3-4 times a year, like we have the wrestling that comes up that many times?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't signed any contracts for this next fight, so I don't know where I'll be competing next. And as far as what the UFC is going to do with Canada, I mean, you're going to have to talk to Dana about it. Showdown, you got anything?
In terms of Johnny fighting on the Newark card, it's already booked 2 title fights on that card, so John won't be on that unless they go back to New Jersey and it just falls perfectly in the schedule. You know, John basically fights wherever. You know, it's got to fight at a certain time. As for the UFC coming to Canada, I've been pressuring the UFC Canada offices as well as the Vegas office to give me something. It's not there yet. I'm thinking there's going to be some plans announced fairly soon. But believe me, once I know, you will all know. I'll bang it off on Twitter, UFC Central, and all that jazz. So give it time. We're getting close to the end of the year. It's just a matter of time. I'll continue to put the pressure on the UFC to give us something.
So much has been talked about the fighter pay. Guys making $5,000 to guys making like $300,000. What are your thoughts about that for new guys coming up and have families to raise?
That's one tough economical question. I don't know if he has that problem anymore, but he went through it, so he knows best.
You know, it's tough. It's tough being an MMA fighter, especially when you're coming up the ranks. But if you work really hard, dedicate yourself, you can definitely, you know, live off of being an MMA fighter. I don't think we are getting paid as much as a lot of pro athletes. But at the same time, there's a lot of sports out there that definitely doesn't get paid as much as UFC fighters do. So I just think with anything, you know, you get what you put into it. And I've dedicated my life and my whole adult life to the sport. And, you know, it's given me a lot back. So I'm just grateful for it.
Much, I would say, like your brothers are in football.
And
There's no
They're
really.
killing me, bro. I'm like, bro, you're paying for dinner tonight.
But again, no guaranteed contracts, right, for a lot of these guys. So
Right.
it's a sort of the same tough grind where it might end at any moment.
Right. At the end of the day, you know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for it. I never thought I'd be in this position in life, and I'm grateful for it all.
Meaning right here at the Gentleman's Expo.
Yes.
That
Oh,
position.
yeah.
Give me
Oh,
one
yeah.
talk. Give me one second. If I can address you real quick there. There's going to be a change. The one bad thing about Jon Bones Jones, the only bad thing about Jon Bones Jones is that we're living in 2013. Talk to me in 2023 or 2033 when he's unfortunately retired and the guys are finally getting paid that kind of money. It's a young sport. It takes a while, and if you listen closely to what Dana's saying right now, there's a 5-year plan in place. By that point there, and the business model in boxing and mixed martial arts is different. Okay, it's a totally different promotional game. That's why the fighters don't get paid as much. But would I like to see George or John get paid $41 million like Floyd Mayweather? Hell yes.
You know, to Dana's defense, he has made, I think, I heard this a while ago, it was somewhere around like 38 multimillionaires in the last 10 years. So he's really changed a lot of people's lives. So
Also, by
he's done a great job.
2023, I think they'll be cloning Jon Jones in case anyone ever wants to invade Canada or
John's going to be the standard. John and George St. Pierre are going to be the standard. That's all we're going to see is guys of this nature. It's going to be incredible.
All right,
We should open a sperm bank.
I'm sure there's a lot of females who are going to be volunteering right now.
Somebody close to you, I won't name any names in your camp, said that it's going to be a little more difficult for John to deal with Chael because you got to have a little bit of that, I want to hurt this guy. But Chael did a good job in trying to convince you that he's not a bad guy, that it kind of took that trigger and kept playing with it until you actually stepped in the cage and it was a different story. Was that difficult to do with an opponent like that?
No, you know, it was tough working with Chael because he likes to insult people on a personal level. He goes after like your country or religion or your family and all this type of stuff. And I was just like, dude, do not disrespect me personally, you know. But you know, he did just a really good job of just coming on the show, keeping it about the athletes, and just being a class act, man. He's a great ambassador for our sport, and I'm just glad I got to do it with him. And we all saw how the fight turned out. You know, it was a first round stoppage, so it was just a great opportunity for me, the whole situation.
How's the toe?
He did break your toe, though.
I did break my toe.
He did break your toe.
He
That's
didn't
what
break my
claims.
toe. I broke my own toe. Yeah.
Not according to Chael.
That was ugly.
That was scary stuff right there. I remember seeing it at the post-fight press conference. I'm thinking this is not good. But you healed up in I think 4 weeks.
Yeah, I healed up pretty fast. It still causes me a lot of pain. You know, every morning when I get out of bed, I step out of bed, and when I put the weight on it, it just starts popping and cracking and all this.